Leading off starts right now on Fantasy Pros. I am Chris Welsh. That right there, that's Kelly Kirby. It's a wonky Wednesday. When we say it's a wonky Wednesday around these parts, it doesn't mean that things are going haywire or crazy. I mean, maybe some things might be going haywire in the background a little bit, Kelly, just a tiny bit, but it doesn't mean it's anything bad. It actually means the opposite. It's the best. It means we get a little bit of extra juice on our home runs today, and I get to hang out with the Wonky Penguin. Kelly, what's up?
Not a lot. I was going to give you a 22-minute standing ovation just to, take some time. But I just will tell everyone I have 6 dogs right now in a very small square footage. A friend of mine is having kind of an emergency surgery. So I'm going to keep them as quiet as I can for the people listening, but YouTubers, I can't help you if I have to mute and turn around and yell a lot. So
I do think we could make it into like a drinking game. And of course, it's very early, so we can make it maybe coffee or shots of espresso or something. That like we were sitting right before the show started and we're just about to go and I hear, and I was like, there we go. So if you hear dog sounds, take a drink, take some caffeine, do something like that. I'm all for it. I've
awesome.
got a dog that thinks the pool man is Hades himself, is the devil, and just has to scream and then dogs scream. So it happens. It's the world of podcasting. But Kelly Kirby in the house for a wonky Wednesday, and we got a lot to cover. I got a home run board, by the way. I can tease that. We got an updated home run board, which should be nice to check out. But let's get right into it. Christian Yelich yesterday hit a 499-foot home run, which was the longest home run of 2022. And for some reason, I'm very skewed by video games sometimes. Like, I forget, maybe every like 6 months, my brain just resets that we don't have 525-foot homers. I think old MLB The Show and MVP baseball and everything just screwed up my brain when I think about it, because I hear 499, I'm like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Well, it's so good. It is the highest this year, and it's the third farthest ever tracked on StatCast, Kelly. And Christian Yelich putting in some big. I know. That's what I read.
That's surprising.
That's very surprising to me too. It was the third highest in the StatCast era. So Christian Yelich, so far on the season, he's had so many comparisons to Cody Bellinger. Those two have fallen in the same realm, but they're not, because Bellinger has been completely worthless. Yelich is quietly putting together a season that we actually might be able to justify where we were taking him, post 100, around the hundreds. 12 homers, 16 stolen bases. I would have never guessed 85 runs on the year. Little tiny outside shot. Might be able to get to 100, hitting right around 260, double-digit walk percentage. I mean, Kelly, Christian Yelich kind of became useful again. He's just not elite.
Right. Yeah. I got burned by him last year so badly that I was just refused to draft him anywhere this year. And I have kind of kept tabs on him. And as a player, I've always really actually enjoyed him, even as a Cubs fan. So I'm glad to see him doing well. And I'm glad for fantasy managers who picked him up way late in drafts. But yeah, those numbers actually just surprised me incredibly.
Yeah. What also is interesting is I kind of feel like Christian Yelich is a guy that we all have this. Usually sometimes it comes from like us not owning players that we might not check in on guys a whole lot, but you also have guys that just what they are in your mind is already done. Like, it's already over. Like, you don't need to really go and check in. You don't need to, there's no highlights of it, but Yelich has quietly been kind of fixing himself. He started off the season around 230. He hit 230 in March, April. He hit 230 in May, but then June and July, he was right around 290. He's dipped down in August, back down, but it's in the 250s. And what you're seeing is an overall improvement of 251 in the first half to 278 in the second half, and a significant amount of stolen bases, though 13 of the 16 came in the first half of the year. And the second half is registered almost about half of what the first half has. So if you can, who's on first, you can follow that. It's just the stolen bases have come down when they were a lot more significant in the first half, but he's still showing off the power. He's showing off the speed, and feels like one of those guys we might be able to buy back into next year because he's going to come at a reduced cost.
Right. Yeah. If there's enough of a discount, I think I would be willing to go back into, rostering him and kind of riding out, because I like when he's a consistent player. Obviously everyone does, but there are times where he swoons to just a degree that he doesn't even look like his back is functioning at all. So
it's a good point. Yeah. But when his back is going, he's dropping him 499.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Big dogs. An interesting group of players that he might be around, we could argue. Some of the rookies. So I thought let's get a little bit of a rookie update on the top guys. You had put on here that Tristan Casas was called up, made his major league debut. Eccentric guy. I don't know if everyone saw his debut when he was when he got to the stadium. He took off his shirt and he just had some shorts on, and he walked out and he went out onto the field and just laid in the grass in the sun. And some players were like, "What are you doing?" He's just being him, being his guy. And he made his major league debut. He goes 1 for 4 with a homer. He had 3 strikeouts. But also, did you see the controversy of the guy where he hits the bomb and the guy gets the ball and won't give the ball back? Like he was holding it hostage. He was holding the home run ball hostage from Casas, and there was like ushers trying to figure something out. I don't know if I saw what the ending was to it, but I was thinking about this. This is going in a completely different tangent, but man, like baseball fans have some of just the worst like dirtbag fans. And I was thinking football is hyper aggressive. Like when I think of football fans, I think, they're all drunk, they're all fighting, they're all doing this. But baseball fans are just like, there's just like a lot of bad people. The video of the guy, the player throwing the ball to all the girls, and the guy with a Soto jersey comes in and steals the ball. Zach Hamble in general. This guy, I don't know why this keeps happening, but I guess that's a whole nother side story. But Tristan Casas is showing off a little bit. Any early impressions on being able to get to see him?
I haven't gotten to see him. I was busy last night, so I missed his intro, but I do love, people are always like, hey, act like you've been here before. And I love when guys are like, I worked my entire existence to get to this moment. It's like, lay in the field, man, get some sun. That's awesome. But otherwise, no, all I know is that Jems McSorley called him for his home run call. So that was an impressive shot. But,
Yeah. That's very true. So on the other rookie side, I just got me thinking with Tristan Casas coming up. The positive is they said they are going to let him run every day. Obviously, not going to let him exhaust his prospect eligibility, if that's even a possibility at this point. But they said they are going to play him every day. Hosmer not going to come back. Bobby Dahlback was sent down. So this is Casas' job to roll. Big power, makes better contact than Dahlback. 3 strikeouts, not great. But it's not something I'm crazy worried about. So Casas is going to be one of those guys who's going to be a good source of power if you're looking at it for your corner infield, and he's going to get everyday at bats, and that's what's a big key. But it got me thinking about the other rookies, and we've had 2 different sides. So Corbin Carroll, over the last week, Corbin Carroll's essentially been here for a week, hitting only 4 for 18 with 1 run, 1 RBI, and hitting 222 off of a very nice hot start. He has sat where I don't think we've seen Gunnar really sit. Gunnar in that same period of time, 9 for 31, 2 runs, a homer, 2 RBI, a stolen base while hitting 290. So the infield position player has been much more valuable. Are you out on Carroll? I'm not going to even ask you Gunnar because I think Gunnar has been more than serviceable right now. But when you see Carroll's early stat line here, 222, he's getting to play mostly every day outside of an occasional sit on a lefty. Are you moving on from Corbin Carroll right now? And I don't know if you've got a pivot for it.
If it's a redraft and I'm like in the playoffs, then yeah, there are enough outfielders. I would just want to protect more of my average, I think. Like I'm not going to chase him doing high counting stats for September. So yeah, I'm out in that regard. Obviously in keeper, if I'm not in the playoffs, then I would ride him out for the rest of the year. But no, that's the thing in redraft leagues for me where, they call up all these guys and it's kind of that like, oh, I want him. I want the best version of him on my team. And they do this like sort of, the 4 for 18 or whatever. So I'm out on him but again, I'm out on a lot of rookie call-ups if I'm in the playoffs. I don't trust them.
It's still the continued like the burn and churn. You burn and churn players. You drop guys that had big names for the rookie guys that came up. Corbin Carroll has struggled. McCarthy's been amazing. That's been a big one. McCarthy, I think Bubba had shared this. Bubba or Mike Curlin over the last 30 days that Jake McCarthy leads the league in stolen bases. He's been your leader in stolen bases here. So burn and churn. So the same thing we would apply to the Whit Merrifield. Why Whit Merrifield would be a guy we would cut for Corbin Carroll. Cut Corbin Carroll for the next guy. Yeah, that's what you would do here. Interesting conversation going on in the chat where this is coming out about the ball, where Go Cards is like, no obligation to give up the ball. And it looks like Jim said that deal on the table with the interviewer was Casas signed bat a Bogart signed ball, and an item to be named later for the home run ball. So here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem cutting the deal. Let's say I were to catch Tristan Casas's ball, I'm 100% going to give him the ball. But
Yes.
I definitely like, hey, let's give me a signed jersey, give me something like that. I'm down for that. But I wouldn't be a hold hostage type of person. Kelly, would you hold hostage? Would you hold hostage for, a couple things like they said? Or obviously, if this guy didn't take that deal, this sounds like someone who's trying to hit eBay and trying to put it out on the auction block. What would be your MO here if you caught Tristan Casas' first career home run ball?
My first thought, honestly, because I'd give it back. I would probably give it back for nothing. That ball means nothing to me. And it means everything to him. So I don't see what I would need. But my first thought was, I was just like, yeah, I mean, he could sign a different ball, or just even honestly, like a picture with him and like a thank you note. Look, I would just want to be like, thank you for giving my ball back. Here's my autograph and here's a picture.
If I could get some sunflower seeds and maybe like a Pepsi and then like a picture, that would be cool. Like, I kind of agree with you. Like, I have a guilt and a shame where I wouldn't be able to I couldn't be the person that was like, what do you got for me? I might be like, here's the ball. Could I maybe get like an autographed jersey or a bat or something? And hey, I really like Xander. Like, I would probably go that level. But if they told me no, I'd probably be like, okay, here you go. I would probably be a pushover like that because I wouldn't be able to take it away from him. But
for me, life gets a lot more fun when I don't look at like everything from what's the financial worth of this.
Good point.
And maybe it's a female thing. I don't know. But I just really, I'm like that again, like I said, yeah, the ball's nice, but it just means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Other than, I caught his first home run and I'm a jackass for keeping it.
Yeah. If I caught like a Corbin Carroll first home run or something like that, and I was like, the Diamondbacks would probably just want to give me season tickets. Like, it wouldn't even be worth it. Like, even if you don't catch it, you can have season tickets, because someone bought season tickets with Boston that wouldn't work in other places. So
I can see Arizona. I can see Arizona doing like we're going to do a drawing for season tickets, and then surprise, everyone here gets them. Like,
yeah, it's like one of those scams where it's like one person's going to win, but really everybody wins because we have to get people. That's actually always been my thought, by the way. My capitalist mind doesn't necessarily work. I'm always shocked at the not great teams like the Diamondbacks, the Pirates, why they wouldn't just give out free tickets. Like, is the money really going to be made on the seat? No, the money is made on the parking. It's made on the food. It's made on the items they're going to buy. Just get people in state. Just give them free tickets. Like, it's the Arizona Fall League. Just let them get in, especially for bad teams that have 10,000 people in the stadium. Don't worry about the ticket prices. Worry about your beer, because that's going to be the thing marked up.
I agree entirely, and I think that Doc in the chat there has the best option, that he would make a deal, but for something really weird. He wants a bag of only banana runts signed by the nighttime janitor at the field. Like that seems perfect.
I like that. Yeah, you're like a what is it called? Like a writer. You're just like, I want a bag of blue M&Ms, and then I want only cherry Pepsis that have been chilled to this degree. I like that. I like doing like a writer. Yeah, 100%. I would probably want to do. We'll move on from this, but actually,
we could do a whole podcast on that.
We could do a whole podcast on it, but I just thought of like the one unique thing I would want, because it'd be fun to get a baseball or something. But take batting practice. That would be one I would be like, can I take batting? But then they would say no, and they'd be like, okay, here's the ball, because I'm a pusher.
I could sign up for that as long as they promise that I get to use the team trainer when I throw my back out.
So. Yeah, actually, you know what? Maybe that's all you say. Like, I just need to see the team trainer. That's it. That's all that I want. My praise is, can I please see a doctor?
That's all I want.
Yes, a doctor might be the only thing that I ask for as well. All right, moving on here from the rookies. A lot of rookie conversation. The crux of it is, if a guy is struggling, move on. You're okay. Carroll, you're okay. Gunnar Henderson, if there was a better hand out there, go for it. But you don't need to hold on too tight. On the injury front, Max Scherzer was placed on the 15-day IL. Earliest return date is now September 19th. Kelly, this is big no bueno.
Yeah, this is terrible. And especially because the Braves just caught him, right? Or did they pass him? That is not what Mets fans want to hear. And today I miss Joe and Dan and watching their sad faces discuss that. But yeah.
It's fun watching Met fans struggle and hurt. And hey, by the way, not the pitcher you would have thought that would have got hurt. Jacob deGrom.
I know. So I mean, one took the whole first half off. The other one just kind of taking the second half. Be great. I truly hope that he can come back for the playoffs, but from a fantasy perspective, that is terrible timing.
So. Their powers combined, they'll make the number one pitcher in baseball when they're all put together, when you put those seasons together. Other on the injury front, Starling Marte out, another Met ones, out of game 1 on Wednesday with a hand injury. By the way, make sure you are tight in on making your roster moves and you're setting your lineups in daily leagues, because I forgot to do it last night. Luckily, up earlier doing stuff for the show, I literally got my rosters in probably 5 minutes before the double header started, and I had a Jacob deGrom share, and that would have got locked, because you know how ridiculous. It still pisses me off that all of these systems haven't figured a great way out. Maybe someone does it, but if a guy's on a double header and they don't pitch till the latter half of it or something, they're just going to lock everybody. They lock everybody. So just make sure you're in it and make sure you're on all of it. This is just a reminder for every single day for everybody to get your stuff in and set your rosters, maybe the night before. So you don't want to have a playoff get hit for you. Xander Bogaerts left Tuesday's game with back spasms. Maybe that's why he can't get an autographed ball for the Casas thing, because he left. Luis Robert got hit in the hand. Jesus, man. I can't even get through this. Luis Robert got hit in the hand with a Logan Gilbert pitch. X-rays were negative, and it may be only a contusion. My God, who is more prone to crazy injury stuff? Is it Luis Robert or Giancarlo Stanton? They are magnets to balls hitting the skin.
I mean, 100%. Like you know, I do the sheet every day, so I go through the injuries, and I honestly did not know if that was new or not. Like I had to click into it. I was like, wait, is this like an old update? Yeah. It's like, is this new? Yeah, and it hit him on the same hand he's been having the issues with, and it's just, I mean, I don't know, but Stanton is he's got a longer track history of weirdness. Like, but I mean, Robert's coming on hard.
He's coming on hard and fast. And you know what? Listen, I love Luis Robert. I think the talent is there, but we are borderlining into a place with him where he is so inconsistently on the field, and he's so hurt with different things left and right. He cannot find a rhythm on the field to tap into that talent that, you know, what was it? Bizarriza had said dealing Robert in April was the best move they made all year. You know, I kind of have thought he was underrated in Dynasty, but I'm really starting to kind of push off a little bit. Like I'm getting over it. Like it can be really frustrating in Dynasty, especially when it's not like, I mean, DeGrom is frustrating in that this happens, but when DeGrom comes back, instantly the top guy. Robert cannot find that rhythm, and he's down to 7 in the order today, I think it is, and he was the other day. So Robert is, well, we're not going to be. He was in the DraftKings stuff, but I don't think he's actually going to be in there after being hit in the hand, but we'll see. But it's just increasingly frustrating, and hitting 7 and not getting any rhythm, it's crazy. Also, Adam Euler placed on the 15-day IL with a rib issue. Mike Mayer is still around and thinking about baseball when he can, and when he comes across something, he shares it. And he immediately shared this yesterday, and this was he tagged you, me, and I don't know why he tagged Joe. Joe doesn't even understand baseball right now, couldn't tell you a thing. He said perfect stat for leading off, and this was from Jesse Dodry, and the tweet was, no rookie in Nationals history has more doubles as the second batter in a game on Tuesdays against left-handed starters than Joey Meneses. And he said this is a perfect leading off stat. And you know what? It's a perfect leading off stat.
Once again, standing ovation, Mike Mayer. Thank you so much for your help. Yeah.
I'm also, I'm a big fan. You know what? Okay, so here's something I would trade that Casas ball. I want to meet the guys that curate these stats. I want to find the stat curators that find the, like, mornings with a 78-degree weather or lower, this guy has the most homers in the month of August. Like, I want to meet those guys that's all they do all day. I want to go in the dungeon, that little dungeon. Yes. I expect them to be similar in look to either one of two things. The guy in Office Space, where's me stapler, or it'll be looking like Grandma's Boy with the hacker, the video game designer, where they're in a room with 400 televisions in front of them listening to techno pull in there, and they're just pulling stats. I assume it's one of those two people, right?
Yeah, I think, yes, you've narrowed it down to the only 2 possible characters. So if one of them wants to be on the show sometime, they should call in. We'll just take a snapshot of them and be great. So
Or they could just be a totally normal person in a house, just like doing math
I
and
mean,
stuff.
maybe Dr. Glenn on the side that's what he does. I don't know. So.
You know what? Maybe that I've seen Dr. Glenn set. Dr. Glenn's setup actually does have a little bit of vibes of those stats. Dr. Glenn just putting it out there. Here's a fun fact from Joe Pesnaski. Did I say that right? Pesnaski? Ponansky. Shohei Ohtani has a 151 OPS plus and a 156 ERA plus. And that OPS plus is basically Jeff Bagwell over his career. And the ERA plus is basically Pedro Martinez over his career. And he said, I'm just not even sure what world this even is. Well, it's a world where Aaron Judge is minus 1,200 for the MVP.
And I don't know if he was even commenting on the MVP thing. It's just think about that for 1 second. you have a Jeff Bagwell and a Pedro Martinez mix. That is a little crazy.
Yeah, those are my favorite. I like the comparisons when we can start to be like, all right, Ohtani is this hitter and this pitcher. You put those players together, and then we can justify that any one single player is better than that. Just because he's going to do it every year doesn't make it not the most valuable thing in baseball. Even if we had to give it for 10 straight years. I just want to point that out again. Just because it becomes the norm does not make it not exceptional. And I don't understand why people don't realize that. This day in baseball, 1998, Mark McGwire, who had become the 3rd player in history to reach 60 home runs, hit his record-tying 61st against Cubs pitcher Mike Morgan. I grew up on Mark McGwire. We talked about this. What was the player you grew up on? Like mine was Mark McGwire. Just pointing out.
Ryan Sandberg.
Okay.
Yeah, and Greg Maddux.
Were you in the Chicago area?
No, I lived in Iowa. So we got the WGN, so we had all the Cubs games from birth to forever. It was Ryan Sandberg and it was Greg Maddux. And when they refused to sign Greg Maddux, that is when I learned about general managers and how awful they are. And I remember that distinctly being a turning point in my life. So yeah.
It's always interesting the person that you grew up on. Like you see it right down here. Go. I love that you guys are sharing this. Like Dr. Glenn said, Chipper. You had Doc for Bizza. You had Musial and Gibson for Cards. You know, I grew up in the Bay Area, so as big as Bonds was, McGwire was bigger in the Bay Area. McGwire was physically and also even just physically. But I've told it a couple times. But my whole family were A's fans, so it was a big Mark McGwire time. So anytime I see a Mark McGwire stat, I think about that, and then I think about the first year I moved to Arizona, and we went to a spring training game at the Giants Stadium. It was A's versus Giants spring training, and then Mark McGwire hit one out of the stadium in a spring training game. And I just think about that.
And I just want to add that, like, I graduated from high school in '98, and so I was a freshman in college. And I remember I was literally in my dorm room watching this game happen, and I'm a Cubs fan, so there's a Cardinal, and I actually cried a little because of just like how amazing it was. Like, just he broke this record, like he just did this whole thing, and it was crazy. So yeah, and also that he did it against he tied it. I'm sorry, but he did it against the Cubs too, which made perfect sense to me. So
there's nothing wrong ever with romanticizing baseball. We all can romanticize baseball. I even mention it to you, and people start sharing. That's the best stuff. That's the thing that makes baseball great. Hey, here's a trivia question. I mentioned it earlier. Christian Yelich, that 499-foot homer was the second longest hit at Coors Field since 2015. Which one of his former teammates hit the longest, and how long was it?
Oof.
Can you guess? Can the chat guess?
I mean, did he ever play with Prince Fielder, or was that too long ago?
I don't think
that was too long.
I don't think they crossed paths, but it's a former teammate of Christian Yelich who has a higher one. It is not Hunter Renfroe.
It's a former teammate. Okay, then Stanton.
It is Stanton. That's right.
Okay.
Can you guess how long that home run was? So it was longer than the 499. Jim says Stanton 515. It is Stanton. That is an incorrect number.
I want to say 525, but
I want to do prices right here. This would be great. Like bing, 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 $1. He $1. Giancarlo Stanton hit it on August 6, 2016. We have another 515 guess. Everyone's guessing 515. It actually was. Just Bob is very, very close. He says 504. It was 506. with the Marlins when he was in the Marlins in 2016. Just reminding everybody, at that time, that outfield was Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, and when we didn't know Marcell Ozuna was garbage. Quite a team. Quite a team that Marlins team was.
And Jose Fernandez was pitching. They could have been good, and things went real bad.
Yep, there's always a woulda, coulda on those teams, and that's definitely one of those we look back at. Some stat heroes, taking a look at what went down yesterday. Max Muncy trying to pick it back up after a wretched start of the year. 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 3 for 4 with a couple runs. Randy Rosarena, 3 for 4 with a homer and 3 RBI. Bo Bichette just came off of a bunch of homers, did it again. 4 for 5, a homer, 2 RBI. Randall Grichuk had 2 homers. Jonathan Daza had a home run. Oneil Cruz, 3 for 5, big old homer. I'm shocked that he has not broken the StatCast record yet. He's got to do it. And then we can have a stat of like, what's the one player that hit a 500-foot home run that only hit 196? And we can be like, oh, Oneil Cruz, that's the guy. Yep. Kyle Farmer, homer. Edmundo Sosa had a homer. Nico Horner, 2 for 3 with a stolen base. And Elihuris Montero had a home run. Got a nice little bet with Colorado. They're bringing up a bunch of the young guys, Montero and Tolia. Yeah, I had that conversation yesterday about Bo Bichette, where it was Michael Harris or Bo Bichette in Dynasty. Are you going to let this back half, and I don't say that, I'm trying to direct this in a way, but are you going to let the second half help direct a positive take on him going into next year? Or are you going to remember the 4 months where Bo Bichette was pretty regular?
Yeah, I have him in a dynasty league. I've had him since the minors. So I'm going to buy in on him again. I think 1 more year, see if he can actually kind of work out all the way across. I feel like guys often have that 1 year that's off early on. And then that next year is either they correct it or they're out. Yeah. I'm still in on him. I like Michael Harris too, but yeah.
Love Michael Harris. On the pitching side, Shane Bieber went 8, struck out 7. Woodruff struck out 5 and 7, giving up only 1 earned run and a couple hits. Logan Gilbert, 6 innings, 9 Ks, 1 hurt wrist to Luis Robert, and gave up only 5 hits. Aaron Nola struck out 10 and 6 2/3, and Jesus Luzardo, 7 innings with 9 strikeouts. Some zeros: Yasmani Grandal, Isaac Paredes, CJ Cron, Chase McCormick, and Teoscar Hernandez, all 3 strikeout games yesterday. And on the pitching side, Cole Irvin gave up 9 earned runs. God, he had been so good. And then that's going to hurt. It's going to kill me in one of my leagues. 9 earned runs, 4 walks, 4 Ks. Kyle Wright thought was going to be good yesterday. Nope. Gave up 8 earned runs and 4. Rich Hill gave up 5 earned runs and 4. Joe Musgrove couldn't make it to the 5th. Gave up 3 homers in the game. And Mitchell White didn't get to the 3rd, giving up 3 earned runs. So no bueno. Friends, I mentioned this to you yesterday, but I'm going to mention it to the rest of this week. If you haven't already, you have a chance to take part in the September giveaway where you can win an Austin Riley 2021 signed World Series ball. Yes, and all you have to do is subscribe, rate, and review the Leading Off podcast. Go do it on iTunes today. Give a rate and review, and you got a chance. What an awesome item that is, and you don't have to try to negotiate with anybody for it. You don't have to feel guilty or hold it hostage. You're just going to get it. A World Series signed ball by Austin Riley. Subscribe, rate, and review. And I would love to see the winner come from, well, this chat's probably already rate and reviewed, but if you haven't, now I'm guilting you to do it because you should. And let's get some winners in there. Wonky, we have got the home runs going down. I'm going to show the leaderboard real quick because as of today, D Blum is still in the lead. D Blum, Elskell is now at 48 with Cat Fox. I believe Cat Fox jumped back up. Yep, and High Cubby. So we have a 3-way tie for second place. And Cat Fox got Hunter Renfroe as a home run call with 3-way race behind D Blum, 49, 48. Go Cards is at 47, and then it kind of falls back a little bit. Mayer and Joey are still on this list here. Those are what the homers are looking like for everybody as we are getting down to the wire. But you've got a Wonky Wednesday adjustment. And you know what? Let's save it for when we do the home run call so you can let everybody know what that's about because I like this one quite a bit. So we'll do that here. I'm just going to throw a couple props at you. I want to see what you like here. Over on the prop cheat sheet for Betting Pros, the number 1 algorithm play is Michael Kopech. And all you need is 4 strikeouts. It's minus 148 over on FanDuel. It's 3.5. They're projecting him at almost 6, 5.7. So no shocker why it's the number 1. You also have the number 1 plus money strikeout prop is Alek Manoah. And I kind of like this one. It is Alek Manoah versus Baltimore, 5.5, projected at 6.8. 6.8, and that's a huge big differential. 105 plus 105 on DK, you can get that. And then the hitting side, the number one hit projection at minus 145 on BetMGM is Danny Jansen. That's only one total base, and Martin Maldonado is the even play. It's not minus. DK, you only need one total base. And if you want to make that Danny Jansen play, you guys can go over to, I guess I got to get the crown. I didn't have it ready. I got to get the crown. Go over and check out when you make all of those awesome bets over at BetMGM, the kings of sports betting. Use the promo code leading off. Get a $1,000 risk-free bet. You can make any of those props, and you're going to get the best odds on the Danny Jansen play, which is a number one total base play over there right now. So whether it's baseball or football betting, BetMGM, kings and queens, we put on our tiaras, we make our bets, and we swim in our money. Kelly, of those four props, what do you dig?
Michael Kopech has ruined my life all year, but that's too low, so I would take it. And I think I also like Manoah's. I feel like he does well in Baltimore, but I like those two. And and I guess I would take all of them really. I'm not a big fan of Maldonado, but for a base hit, I would do it. So
the thing with Kopech, I agree it's too low. The problem is he has not hit this in the last two games. He actually only has two strikeouts over the last two games, and he had 5 starts this month, and he's only hit that 2 of 5 times. So that's why that number is low. But it's just too low. It's just too low.
I think it's just too low.
Yeah. It is a little bit too low. So there you go. You guys want to make your bets, go over leading off. Is the promo code on BetMGM, risk-free bet. Just real quick, DK and FanDuel for DFS. DK numbers weren't out there, but Strider on FanDuel 10-2, Clayton Kershaw 10-1, Manoah's 10-9, Jordan Montgomery 9-5, Patrick Sandoval 9-7. I wouldn't be able to not hit Strider, but he's going to be such a overplayed guy. He's going to be chalk today. Everyone's going to be playing him. DraftKings, when you have two pitchers, I might try to pair or maybe go Manoah. Manoah and Montgomery might be decent. He's probably going to be cheaper on DK a little bit. Implied totals of 5 or more: Houston, Dodgers, and Angels. But I'm also going to add Atlanta because of the A's. So I'm going to put Atlanta. I think actually Atlanta stacks would be a really smart play today. So the home run contest, we're going to make some home run calls, and you have a little adjustment today for a Wonky Wednesday bonus, and I like it.
I love it, and I realize how diabolical I can actually be. So, I mean, like this, when this came to me, I did an evil cackle. So what I've wanted to do it forever. So we're doing a double-digit day. So you pick a player who wears a double-digit jersey with 2 of the same number, and you can receive twice the number of homers that he hits today. For example, Aaron Judge wears number 99, and it's just really too awful, isn't it, that he's in a doubleheader, so you can't call him.
Oh, doubleheader for double numbers, and you can't get your double homers. So sorry.
It's just a terrible coincidence. I mean, so yeah.
Sorry, Joe. Can't have it. So any player that wears a double-digit number, so 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, you guys get the hint. Does anyone wear 66 in baseball? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I have a number thing, and people who know me know about this. I have a number thing that odd numbers bother me. So like running backs wearing number 5 annoy me. Baseball players wearing like 67 or 74 bother me. Like numbers like that really, really bother me. 90, but the even numbers are the ways to get away with it. You know, Kyle Blanks, maybe the most famous 88. I can do 99s, 88s, 77s, I can do those, but any other number order does really get to me. But who do you got then? Who's your double-digit number you're playing?
So my home run call for today is Jose Ramirez, who wears number 11.
I like that call. I am going to go with a little 44 action against Michael Kopech, and I'm going to go with Julio Rodriguez leading off. Should probably be, in my mind, probably the play of the day. It's a leadoff batter with a double-digit number. Ramirez, though, makes a lot of sense. We probably picked the top 2 Digi players. Is there? I can't even think of anybody else, to be honest with you.
There's a few out there. I also wanted to mention in your home run call, if you want to, just add the number I mean, obviously I'm going to have to look them up anyway, but if you want to just add their jersey number, that would save me a little time. But
yeah, okay.
so,
I did do that on mine. So
yes.
Julio Rodriguez, Jose Ramirez. Oh, isn't that sad that Joe is Aaron Judge and he doesn't actually get to have a homer today? That's sad.
None of them.
Sad. Better than
So
me.
terrible.
Doing
Feel
better
bad
than
for
me.
him.
Yep. All right, friendos, that is the episode. Thank you guys for hanging out. Kelly, anything going down that people need to be checking out?
If you love fantasy NASCAR or fantasy hockey, I've got all sorts of stuff going on over at Fantrax. And we also did start the touchdown calls today. So if you want to play this game, play this game.
Play it. Yeah, do it. The touchdown call I like. Dr. Glenn says, I went 7, gave up 1 run, 6 strikeouts. He's then checked into the game to hit 2 homers. His MVP odds then fell as a result, though. So I got no MVP for Wells when I come in my homer. Thank you, Glenn, for my line. As he always does, it gives me the pitching line. Friends, thank you guys for hanging out. Hope you had fun today. Hopefully we learned a little bit and we can win our playoff matchups. That's the key. Make sure you come back tomorrow. I believe it's Andrew Seifter hanging out with me. Kelly, you did fantastic. Love having you on. And looking forward to having you on next week. For Kelly,
fantastic.
I'm Welsh. We're out of here. Goodbye. Peace, friends.